Hello everyone, my name is Ishmael Carvajal, and I want to talk to you today about my lovely wife, Miriam Carvajal, and how we met and kind of how we fell in love, The back in 1997, the fall of 1997, I actually met my wife at a Bible school there in San Antonio. And we met, and of course we had some mutual friends and so on, but there was nothing there was nothing that piqued my interest, and where hey, just wanted to really get to know her a little bit more, anything like that. That it wasn't there just wasn't that spark for myself. Anyway, let me fast forward. We ended up the spring of 98. School's out, and she asked me for my number, and I was really hesitant about giving her my number. And well, not to be rude, I did. I'm glad I did. I'm very happy that I did. But I didn't want to give her my number, and I did. Anyway, that summer, it had to be. It was in June, I believe. She called me out of the blue, and of course that summer, I was working for my father, and she called, and it had to be about 6:30, 7 o'clock, and I had my cell phone out in the truck, and went to the truck, and had to do some stuff, and because I left my phone in there, and I looked, and I saw I missed a phone call. I checked, there's a voicemail. I checked the voicemail. It's her. You know what? No big deal. I didn't worry about it. I deleted it, and I was done. So a month went by, and I missed another phone call, and it was her. It was because I recognized the number, and so I listened to the voicemail, and now I'm feeling bad. I'm feeling bad, and I'm thinking, because I really didn't want to call her, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna call her because this is the second time she called me, so I'm gonna call her just for whatever reason. And so I called her, and I tell you what, it was one of the best conversations I've ever had. And so we must have talked for about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, and it just flew on by. It was just gone. I was like, wow, and so at the end of the conversation, I was like, hey, I said, well, is it okay if I call you? And she tells me, she goes, yeah, just call me next month. And I'm thinking to myself, talking on the phone, and I'm thinking, what? A month? I'm like, are you kidding me? And it was a great conversation. I'm thinking, was this just me seeing this, or was it? I mean, I have no idea. I didn't ask, I just said, okay, played it off pretty cool. And like I was cool or something. I said, all right, no problem. I'll talk to you next month. And I tell you what, that was one of the longest months of my life, because I was my interest was peaked. I was truly interested. I'm like, oh my gosh, because it was killing me. And so sure enough, like a month to the day, I called her back, and of course, what, we had a great conversation, and it pretty much went from there. She didn't go back to Bible school that year. She's originally from Lubbock, and so that's where she was at. And next thing you know, we the summer of '99, we got married. June of '99, we ended up getting married, and it was great. Of course, you fall in love, and everything's all great, and it was. I guess I don't want to say a few weeks after that, but it took a little while, and the honeymoon was over. I'd say probably about a month and a half or so. Honeymoon was over, and it was a time I really don't ever want to go back to. It was hard. It was very difficult, both being newlyweds. I was already out on my own at that time to an extent. I had a decent job and so on, and merging those two lives together, it was very tough. It was very, very tough. And I can remember the arguments, the way it was feeling, the tension inside our little apartment, and it was tough. It was just very tough. I'm not going to get into those details or anything, maybe at some other date, but it was very tough. And I know that some of you guys most definitely can relate to that. And I remember one day sitting down on the couch, and I was on I think I was on the love seat, and she was on the couch, and I was like, everything's going to be all right. And she was crying, and she told me, she was like, we're always fighting. We have all these things going on, and how can you sit there and say that? And I was like, I don't know, but everything's going to be okay. That's all I know. And it is. It's okay. We ended up moving down to the Rio Grande Valley. We had our first child down there, and it was very difficult for her to be away from her family, and she wanted to move back home. And so that's what we did. We ended up moving back to Lubbock. It was I would say, I guess for about 5 years. Well, before 5 years actually, but we were in Lubbock, had another child, and not that we didn't have any good times because we still had kids, right? So something had to be good in between there. But it was very trying still, you know. Looking back on it, you know, we both had our crutches, and crutches being family members, where, you know, you don't give your all to your significant other, your spouse. And that's what had happened even when I was in the valley. She really didn't have all of me. I didn't have all of her. Not that there wasn't a commitment there, but an emotional commitment, I guess I want to say. And there was just those crutches again. And moved to Lubbock, and it was the same way. We still struggled in our marriage, and I ended up getting sick. I had a body tumor in my neck, and, you know, I lost my job. It couldn't work, and so on. And, you know, house payment, car payment, we lost like everything. We were just flat broke. We ended up, there was I don't want to say an easy out, but there was an out because my father had a house in up north, just a couple hours north of Lubbock, and we had a house, so we ended up doing that. We ended up moving there, ended up finding a job, and pretty quick, a lot of contractor work over there, and still knew a lot of people from there, and ended up going there. And then guess what happens? We learned to depend on each other. It was just us. There was nobody else. There's no family around. You know, at times, still even then, you know, we didn't have any money, and it was okay. But we learned how to depend on each other. We learned how to get through those hard times. It was great. You know, it was just us and the kids and nobody else around, and work was going good. You know, even though there was times there was no money, it was okay because we had each other. And it was, marriage just shot through the roof. And it was like for the first 5 years, it was so tough. And after those 5, man, it was just like a rocket, just gone. And so we were there for, I want to say, a couple of years, and we had our son there. And one day she tells me, she was like, you know, I want to move back to Lubbock. And I'm like, oh no. Why? We're doing so good here. Why do we want to move back? And it was probably one of the best things that we had done as far as career-wise, because of where we ended up today. But it was I found that you know, marriage is just not about love. I mean, it is. That helps. It gets you married, but it's everything. It's everything. To the tough times, you know, just where me and my wife just trying to gel together. The children, you know, she takes care of the children. She's a great mom. She homeschools the kids. They want for nothing. She takes care of me, and that it's a lot. It means a lot to me. You know how when somebody looks at you and when they're looking at you, you can see that they love you. It's not just the words coming out of their mouth. It's action, and you can see it, and you get that warm, fuzzy feeling inside, and you know it. That's what I feel. And she loves me. She loves me, even though I'm not perfect. She loves me because I'm chunky. I'm going bald, you know. She my bad habits, you know, and or just those little pet peeves like, hey, you know, pick up your clothes. She loves me, and I know that because of the way she looks at me. I know that because of what she does and what she doesn't do. It would have been so easy for us to give up in the very beginning. But after 16 years, we wouldn't know what their fruit's like. Just a sweet taste of the fruit and the smell. We wouldn't have that if we would have X amount of years ago just gave up. And I really appreciate my wife for everything that she does and everything that she doesn't do. And I've learned that the biggest thing is for me is to never give up. And together, if we don't ever give up, you know, we're going to live a long and happy life, a great quality life. And that's what life's about. It's not how much money we make, or, you know, how big our house is, or the new cars that, you know, that we make. We don't have, you know, but we live good, and we really want for nothing, because we have everything. We have each other, we have our health, we have our children, and my wife really means a whole lot to me. And I wish that there was more time and more. I wish I could share more of my experiences, and not just the tough times, but the good times. But thank you guys for listening to me today, and y'all have a great day. Bye-bye. Thanks.